Hello there, it's Alfred Grant, Television Radio Techniques, with your weekly media training wisdom. Today, those powerful, simple 5 little steps we call the media success habits. When you wrap all these together, you feel different. You feel stable, you feel more secure, you feel ready, able to meet the journalist and meet them face to face and do battle and win, because you've got the answer. You've got a proven formula, proven steps that work. And this isn't new. This has been working for people for more than 20 years. And now it's in your hands. So let me talk you through the 5 media success habits which are absolutely essential for you to do brilliant media interviews. So step one, you've always got to know what you're going to say first. How are you going to begin? Because you've got to start with impact, because without that impact you don't grab the audience. This is where you get your soundbite. This is what all journalists are looking for. That soundbite, the bit that really and truly illustrates the depth, the success of your story. And we need to hear that first. And if you can't say it within 30 seconds, then rethink what you want to say. And if you can't rethink it, then write it. And write it in just 20 words. And if you can do that, you'll have a sharp message. Now here's another tip that will help you to begin a media interview. You need a map. We call it MAP, and it stands for Message, Audience, Persuade. They're the 3 things you want to consider in your preparation to ensure you come up with a sound bite. And we'll talk you through that, if not next week, then the week after. So that's step 1 on your media success habits. Step 2, we call it your positive agenda. Some might call it the power play. You need a triple power play. You see, the challenge is that you know so much. There's so many things you can say, and you have to work out what you don't have time to say. But on the media, you've only got time to say 3 things. So you've got to work out what are the 3 critical messages that you want to say. Never mind what the media wants you to say, but what is it that you want to say? So identify what those 3 critical messages are, and no more than 3. And once you've identified the 3, how are you going to support them? How are you going to illustrate them? Where's the evidence to back up that you know, that you do know what you know? And you're going to deliver it and you're going to say it. So plan it. That's step 2. Step 3. This is a bit that many people leave out. Step 3 can be the bit that can trip you up. This is when you have to think, well, what is it that the media wants from me or my organization? What are the questions that they might use to trip you up? What's the underlying sneaky agenda that they really haven't told you about? And if you haven't got that brief before you do this, then you need to make sure you get a clear brief from the journalist, because we always know what we want to ask you. And so you need to know what you want to say before you meet that journalist. So you've got to consider what are the typical questions that the journalist might use against you. And don't think you've got to come up with 15 different questions. You don't. Identify no more than 3 or 4. That's all, 3 or 4. The toughest questions, and you will know them. And now you've thought about those tough questions, here's a bit that unlocks those questions. Here's the key to keep you on message. Here's a real bit that gives you that power and confidence. What we call using control phrases. Now these little babies, they're the things that enable you to say to a reporter when they ask you a question which is inaccurate, phrases that say, I disagree, that's not true, I think you find that you're mistaken with that view, or absolutely not, or frankly, I don't recall that particular point. However, these are the phrases that truly give you the power and the confidence to be resilient, to feel stable, to feel secure, to feel emotionally in control of yourself, so you don't give out any kind of knee-jerk responses to any naughty questions from that reporter. So that's step 4. And then step 5, the ending. The ending, it's always pretty obvious once you know what to look for. And we call it the trigger phrases and trigger words. Journalists give you clues. They say words like finally, briefly, sum up for me. What's the last thing that you want to say? Hurry up, please. Be quick in 10 seconds. Now, when you're sat in the chair, you say, oh, how dare you talk to me that way? But what they're doing is giving you a signal that the interview is over. I want to hear any phrase of that type at the end of an interview. What you do is repeat whatever you said at the beginning. So that phrase that you used as the soundbite to start your interview, bring that back to the very end of your interview. And now we've got fantastic repetition of your critical message. Did you get that? And they are your 5 media success habits. They work when you apply them. They work if you execute. They work if you learn and you go through the coaching. And we'll go into this in more detail in our full day media coaching courses. But for today, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. More information for you next week. All the best. Bye-bye.